one to turn down a dungeon crawler badge, Path of Exile is a click-em-up brought to us by New Zealand developer Grinding Gear Games. Their aim is to keep the game entirely free to play, funded only by ethical microtransactions. That is, the only items you can pay for are purely cosmetic and give no actual in-game advantage to the player. The game is currently in beta, so we thought we'd check it out, and since it's free, it's our first gratis gaming pick for the year.
Someone wants to join the party. I'm a machine. What have you got floating around you? What is that?
That's my gotta go fast thing. When you see that, I gotta go fast. Want to see it again?
Every day I live a little bit more.
With every debt, I live a little bit more.
Someone's firing at me. Oh, it's you! You guys, I'll just sonic boom them.
Sonic boom them, please.
Sonic boom! Sonic boom!
Oh, this guy. Oh, it's an arrow which does poison.
I love that these like zombie chicks, they all throw rocks.
Yeah, we may be zombies, but we know how to rock.
Ew, gross.
I was in a menu, so I didn't quite see it, but I came back and I was covered in bloods.
There are currently 6 playable character classes to choose from, each with their own tale of woe.
I drank, and the next thing I know, I'm on this stinking crate bound for exile.
For whatever reason, you've been exiled to a kind of Van Diemen's Land prison continent called Rayclast, a nightmarish land filled with all manner of ghastly beasts that you must battle to stay alive.
On its surface, it may seem a lot like any other dungeon crawler out there, taking inspiration from games like Diablo and Torchlight, but a little way into the first area and you'll start to discover that there is a lot about Path of Exile that is striving for uniqueness. First of all, I love the look of it, Barjo. It's so nice to see something other than that kind of cartoony art style that other games like this tend to favour. Here, everything is dark and gritty with a really nice realism to it.
Yeah, and even in the bleaker looking areas, they find ways to add touches of beauty to it with particle effects that catch the light, or curls of mist and smoke. Another thing you'll notice is a bunch of players running around in the hub towns. Every area you enter outside of these towns works like an instance where only you and members of your party will be active. But these hub areas are such a great idea because it makes it that much easier to find randoms around your level to go adventuring with.
Still alive, are we?
Other aspects will seem familiar as well, waypoints, portals, class-appropriate loot, but where other games have craftily played into our sense of greed.
Wow, look at all that gold! Yeah, get it, loot, loot, loot!
Path of Exile offers no gold whatsoever. There is no actual currency in this game per se. Instead, you can trade items you don't need for useful things like portal scrolls, identify scrolls, and magical orbs, and vice versa. It doesn't completely revolutionize things, but it's a cool alternative, and it's strangely liberating, really. Another way this game sets itself apart is that instead of learning active abilities, all additional attacks are governed by specific crystals that you'll pick up, or earn as quest rewards that are then slotted into your armor and weapons.
The crystals are color-coded and require certain class attributes to wield their power. It's another really interesting and different way this game deals with combat.
Yeah, it took me a while to get my head around it, but once I did, you really start to learn the value of those rarer items with lots of gem slots, because they determine how many gems you can have equipped and therefore how many fancy attacks you'll have at your disposal. My ranger had this cool poison, ice, fire thing going on with my arrows. It left these glittering clouds all over the battlefield. It was cool.
I was also pleasantly surprised to see that your gems level up as you use them, and combining them with other support gems which link to them will modify an ability's effect.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where I start to really nerd out over all the possible customization options and the gems that I can swap in and out and the linking.
Gems!
So you opened the title.
Gems, gems, gems.
Gems, gems.
And if that sort of thing does it for you, just wait till you get to add your first passive skill point. Okay, here we go. Just gotta decide where to put my first. Holy crap, look at that skill tree!
Yeah, it's crazy. It's not so much a skill tree as it is a skill forest.
I think I spent the first 5 minutes just staring open-mouthed and gaping at this thing, just wondering how I was gonna take it on. I mean, talk about daunting.
But once you have put in a few points, you can start to see those familiar paths that you can take, so it does get a bit less stressful. Everything is connected, and you can build and develop your character into any and all directions of the sprawling web that you desire.
And it plays nicely into the class system as well.
Choose wisely.
Of the 6 classes, there are 3 main, a tank, a ranger, and a caster, and 3 hybrid classes as well that use combinations of strength, intelligence, and dexterity. For example, I love my ranger and my witch, but if I really wanted to be able to focus on mastering both spells and those quick dexterous attacks, I probably would have been better off choosing the shadow.
It's nice not being dead yet.
The Marauder tanks with pure brute strength, but the Duelist uses both strength and dexterity if you'd rather play a fighter with a little less smash and a little more finesse.
Just a moment, I'm just dispatching these skellies with my bow.
Just getting its face smashed.
And I love that. I love a game that doesn't lock you in as long as you've got the relevant attributes to use something. And I love a game that breaks the rules a bit like this, Hex.
Other great ideas is health and mana pots automatically regenerate as you get kills, and you can also upgrade your flasks with additional effects.
It's great, isn't it? It's so clever because it means you can't just kite enemies around and wait for your health to refill. You actually have to work to get your health back.
Exactly, but what's even better is that the game's difficulty is reflected in this system. I mean, you do need to pot often because the game is nicely challenging, and I know that was an issue you had with the first playthrough of Diablo 3.
Yeah, Diablo 3 was super easy on normal, and this, I love that it can get out of hand really quickly. Another thing I think it does better than Diablo 3 is the randomly generated stuff, because with Diablo I felt like there was random stuff in there, but it still felt like only a couple of different set pieces that were randomized, and here I think it's much more complex.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on with those areas. It seemed to randomly change on me a lot more than other games like this that I've played. I think it might regenerate the instance each time you log back in or create a new party, but I swear sometimes I would just go through a door, then back through it again only to find that everything had changed.
What? Oh, this is trippy.
Or maybe I'm just going crazy, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a bit disorientating at times, isn't it? But that does keep you on your toes.
Yeah, and it really helps with replayability because each run through an instance is always going to feel fresh.
Yeah, I'm having a great time with this game, Hex. I did not expect it to be this good, and I'm definitely coming back to it.
That's awesome!
Sonic boom!
And this is the kind of game that's already so well made and providing so much for free that you genuinely want to make purchases just to support the game.
Yeah, you know they're doing free-to-play right when you actually want to give them money because you're getting enough value out of it already.
Plus, it's nice hearing the familiar accent of our Kiwi brothers voicing these adventurers in a game and bucking the American trend.
They were right to fear me. If only they had listened to their cowardice.
Was I supposed to bear such insults with an action simply because of his high birth?
I feel him, traveling beside me to this new land, this Rayclast.
There isn't much to complain about here. I did notice a bit of lag which kind of makes up close and personal melee a little bit tricky at times, but this is only still in beta. However, we have kind of given it a full review, Hex, so if you were to give it a hypothetical score, what would you give it?
Hypothetically?
Yeah.
If this was hypothetically a finished game, I'd give it a hypothetical 9.
I think I would also give it a hypothetical 9 out of 10 rubber chickens.